Previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, rarely loses. He just rarely loses. So I like Hangman to win here, not only just to win here, but to be the next challenger for the AEW World Championship, no matter if MJF or Bryan Danielson wins. If you look at the totality of the AEW roster, only Hangman Page and Adam Cole, they're the only two men right now who seem like legitimate challengers. So take Hangman Adam Page to win here, sign of respect, and we move on to good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, March 11th, and you know what that means. It is time once again for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, reaching for the sky, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome one and all. As always, you know you can catch me on the socials, Charismatic Creations, Facebook, Tumblr, no longer Tumblr, got rid of that, Facebook, YouTube, and Charismatic Creations on 52 on Instagram, and the 215 on Twitter. Had a little bit of brain fart there since I got rid of the Tumblr. I told you we're moving some things around, but don't worry about it. Today's show was originally going to be a big boy, but I decided to break it up into two parts. So next week's show will be moved to another date. I don't know when. But today's show is WrestleMania and WrestleMania and who should have won. So we're going to go all the way back to WrestleMania 20. I wanted to start there, and we're going to look at who should have won these matches. So I've got about 10 for you today, and I think I got 10 more next week, somewhere around that number. Obviously, we're skipping probably the most obvious one out of all the WrestleMania matches. We're starting at 20 because you know WrestleMania 19. We all know Booker T should have won. But for now, we're going to look at 20 and up. But also, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. So I'm not going to be before you very long with the news. As you know, now let me cover Ring of Honor. I'm going to try to condense everything. So let's start with the go home episode of Rampage ratings for Revolution. They pulled in just under 400,000 with 394,000 viewers with a .10 in the 18-49 demo. That's down a little bit from the previous week of 409,000 in the .11 in the 18-49 demo. Vince McMahon was at Raw, and listen, my eyes lit up too, but he is in charge of the company. He is the CEO. Nothing will really stop him from coming, but he was just pretty much there to see Cena, since they have a close relationship. He did look a little different. Apparently Vince has a mustache. The date and location for the King and Queen of the Ring has been announced. It will take place Saturday, May 27th. Guess where? At Blood Money. Yep. Looks like it will be taking place once again there. Remember the Queen's Crown Tournament finals took place in Saudi Arabia as well, but now we have the King and Queen of the Ring. Dana Brooke had a really good idea, which I 100% behind, but it won't come into fruition. When they were getting rid of the 24/7 championship, she suggested instead of getting rid of it, how about you make it a women's intercontinental championship, a mid-card championship for the women, which I think they desperately need. Besides having two women's world champions and the tag team champions, the women could definitely benefit from having one more championship. Other promotions have a mid-card championship for their women. NWA, Impact, they can fight for the Digital Media Championship. AEW with the TBS Championship. I think the women really should, and the WWE should have one. The dates and location for Backlash has been announced, and it will take place Saturday, May 6th in Puerto Rico with the host, Bad Bunny. So, yeah, May 6th, Puerto Rico, Backlash. It's a little odd that it takes place. You know, Backlash has always been the pay-per-view that takes place after WrestleMania, but May 6th seems a little late. If we go to real quick, the WWE pay-per-view schedule, and we go to 2023, after WrestleMania is Backlash, because WrestleMania takes place on April 1st and 2nd, so Backlash taking place that early in May, because May has two pay-per-views. They have Backlash and they have the King and Queen of the Ring. That's a hefty one right there. The WWE wants to possibly allow people to bet on their matches, and that's a whole legal issue. Some superstars might not be allowed to know the finish of their matches. Only certain people would know how things, and this is tough for, you know, a quote unquote sport that is predetermined. Hell, they even have filed for some betting rights in the Indiana Gaming Commission. This is something major. We need to keep our ear on the ground for this. Saray will be leaving the WWE and NXT. She is finishing up in NXT. It sucks. She was never truly utilized to her full potential. She will be much better used when she heads back to Japan. Saray hasn't wrestled since last August, and once William Regal and a few other people were let go, she lost a lot of her supporters. I wish her all the best. This is another time where the WWE has wasted talent, specifically Japanese women, because they wasted Kairi Sane. I'm just throwing that out there. The main reason for the All Atlantic Championship becoming the AEW International Championship is Warner Brothers looked for something, some promotion from AEW for the new Shazam movie. That's what Tony Khan came up with. I much like this. I mean, I like the All Atlantic name. I do like the International Championship name, just because calling All Atlantic when you had Japan's and Australia's flags on your championship when they don't have access to the Atlantic Ocean just didn't make any sense at all. Dynamite this past week pulled in 858,000 viewers, is slightly up from last week's show, especially with a .29 and an 18:49 demo. Solid ratings all around. The AEW are working with the Elites to sign them to new long-term deals, specifically Kenny and the Young Bucks. And as we've heard, the WWE are interested in signing them. I think they'll probably stay in AEW. What's All Elite Wrestling without the Elites? Eddie Edwards, Impact Wrestling star, has signed a new contract, and he's not going anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He is thriving in Impact Wrestling right now. As you know, Ronda Rousey has an injury. She has looks like she's dealing with a hairline fracture in her arm. We need to see how this will tie into WrestleMania. Jade Cargill, when we get to it later, says she wants to face somebody since they're in Canada for the TBS Championship. So this could be the debut of somebody big, and who could that be? Word on the street that it might be Taya Valkyrie, which I am very much excited for. I'm a huge fan of Taya. We'll see how that transpires. Revolution buys, they pulled in 120 to about 129,000 buys. It looks like that might jump over to 130 with fans ordering the replay. It's not bad. It's not bad. You know, we could do a little bit better, but that's still good. Rey Mysterio has been announced as the first inductee into the 2023 Hall of Fame, and if you're putting Rey in, shouldn't he be the headliner? Like, word on the street is that Batista's going to be in, but why? I get it, it's Batista, but it's also Rey Mysterio, who's a living legend. That's all I'm saying. Rey should be the headliner, not Batista. And finally, Soraya's stable gets another new name instead of being called the Freelancers. They are the Outcasts. I'm with it. I'm all for it. Make love to the name. I'm excited to see where the storyline is going, but we'll dive back into that a little bit more with the week in review. But that is the news, and we shall be right back. We had ourselves a solid week of wrestling. So let's dive right on into it. Monday Night Raw, and I like to call it as the Bloodline turns, but we'll get into that later in the evening. So let's run down the show real quick. Paul Heyman. We opened the show with the Bloodline coming in. Paul Heyman tells Jimmy that he has to take care of the Sammy problem tonight as they have a match, and this is per Roman's orders. Our first match on the show was Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa. KO defeats Solo by DQ. Make note of that because Solo has not been pinned yet. The Bloodline try to take out KO, but Sammy intervenes, stops KO from getting beat up. He offers KO a hand. KO just brushes him off and keeps it pushing. Bianca Belair defeated Carmella. Carmella and Chelsea Green tried to attack Bianca after the match, but Asuka came out to help. This feud is very, very boring. This feud is very, very boring, very, very dumb. This is why it should be Asuka versus Charlotte and Rhea versus Bianca at WrestleMania. Sammy tries talking to KO backstage, making his case for them to team up against the Bloodline, and KO still says no. We had the Miz TV with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. And Seth states why he wants Paul, why he can't stand him, and why they're going to have this match at WrestleMania. And I give him credit. Logan Paul finally decided to stop trying to be a babyface and lean into his heelish tendency, because he is a dick, he is a douche, he is a piece of trash, garbage person. This devolves into a fight, and Logan Paul knocks out Seth Rollins. Omos squashes Dolph Ziggler. Johnny Gargano defeated Finn Balor after Edge got involved. And later in the evening, Edge was like, listen, he cost me a match, I cost him a match, we're going to settle this next week. They're going to have some words. Next week, Piper Niven defeated Nikki Cross in a nothing match. John Cena returned, and he completely outclassed Austin Theory. He absolutely tore him down on the mic. And we're getting this match at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. Round one goes to Cena, just like how round one went to Cena when he returned against Roman Reigns. Chad Gable defeated Corbin, much to the chagrin of the Maximum Male models, and the downfall of Baron Corbin continues. Chad Gable finally got a win. I'm so happy. Damage Control had in-ring little battles, words with Trish, Lita, and Becky, and there will be a 6-woman tag match at WrestleMania. But make note, when the faces offer the match, Bayley once again accepted on the behalf of Io and Dakota. I'm just put that in your back pocket and save it for later. In our main event, Sami Zayn defeated Jimmy Uso, and Jay was there, and Jay was distraught. And then he goes past Jimmy, hugs Sammy, they raise the ones, and then he super kicks Jay and says, yo, this is family stuff. You thought I was going to choose you, and the world sobbed. Man, that was a way to end the show. Cody comes out to help Sammy. What's next? We got about 3-4 more weeks until WrestleMania. I'm intrigued. Over on Dynamite, we had our Revolution Fallout. Orange Cassidy retained the All-Atlantic Championship against Jay Lethal. This is the last defense of the All-Atlantic Championship because we noted, it will become the International Championship. Jeff Jarrett then shows up and gives a guitar shot to Orange Cassidy's knee, and he'll be taking on Orange Cassidy next week for the International Championship. I'm almost sure Jeff Jarrett's winning the championship next week. I'm 100%, not 100%, I'm like 80% positive Jeff Jarrett's winning the championship next week. Juice Robinson attacked Ricky Starks before Ricky could finish his promo, and make note that when Juice came out, it was still saying he was in the Bullet Club, and I'm pretty sure Juice is not in the Bullet Club anymore. Ruby Soho interviewed in the ring by Renee Paquette, and we wanted to know why. And she said, "I'll tell you why. Long story short, y'all don't care. Y'all don't appreciate me. When Britt beat me, y'all cheered. When I beat Chris Statlander to advance to the finals with the Owen Hart, y'all booed me. And then when Jamie beat me, y'all booed me. Not only that, this company doesn't respect Tony Khan because they respect Tony Storm, because y'all called her an interim champion. And y'all all begged and pleaded for Sarray to come back. When she comes back, all you neck-bearded incels started trashing her. So yeah, Ruby's right. And look, we always hate when somebody turns heel. It's the "you people" promo against the fans, because they're almost always wrong. But Ruby was 100% correct here. 100% correct. She then went on to defeat Sky Blue, and they spray paint. They spray the L on Sky, and Willow Nightingale comes out to talk to Ruby, and well, Willow got jumped. That's just how it is. I want to see who's next, because Jamie and Britt need somebody else. FTR says they're coming for the guns. They're coming for the guns. They're coming for the tag team championships. The Jericho Appreciation Society defeated Top Flight and AR Fox. It's good to get Jericho a win, as he's been taking a couple L's recently. And the JS called out the House of Black, saying they want the trio championships, some new gold. I'm like, okay, I'm with this. But the Elite come out, and Don Collins was like, listen, Jericho, you and I have known each other a long time. You're one of the greatest of all time. You're not the greatest from Winnipeg. That would go to Kenny Omega. And if I wrestled, you would be third. Good stuff. Lights go out. Lights come back on. House of Black says, you want some? Come get some. Bryan Danielson says he's going home. And we'll leave it at that. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeated Alex Reynolds and John Silver. And after the match, they were still kind of holding on to the submission holds. So Evil Uno came out, and then they attacked Evil Uno. So it looks like the BCC are heels. Adam Cole came out to fight him off. This is intriguing, because I thought we were done with Cole and Mox, but apparently not. And in the main event, Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs, defeated Wardlow for the TNT Championship in the, I don't even know, was this a street fight? Was it a last minute? I don't know if they changed something, because it was just crazy. It was crazy. It was big mighty men slapping Mammy, and Hobbs won with help from QT Marshall, which I know a lot of people didn't didn't like that, but it fits with the story. Over on Impact, Gujarat defeated Bully Ray by DQ, with Tommy Dreamer and Mickey James fighting off Bully and Masha Slamovich. Rhino defeated Callahan. Trey Miguel wants an opponent, so he'll be defending the championship at the Multiverse United show, and then also again at Slammiversary if he retains. Jordan Grace defeated Alex Gracia. Moose and Brian Myers attacked Joe Hendry backstage. Kushida tapped out Jonathan Gresham. Kilynn King attacked Killer Kelly after she made her choice with Taylor Wilde. So their tag team is briefly over, and the Death Dolls offered to help Killer Kelly, but backstage, but Killer was like, no, I'm good. And Kilynn King and Taylor Wilde want the Dolls. So got ourselves a new tag team. I'm a fan of Kilynn King. I'm glad to see her getting some proper work. PCO and Eddie Edwards were fighting in the desert until PCO got hit by a damn car and we don't know who is driving the car, and Eddie Edwards just drives away. This is weird. And in our main event, Mickie James retains the Knockouts Championship over Giselle Shaw with a little help from Deonna Purrazzo. So it looks like Deonna is a face now, and will be continuing her feud with Giselle Shaw over on Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe retains the TV Championship against Tony Deppen, and he's like, yo, I'm the champ, I'm the TV champ. And Mark Briscoe comes on and says he got next. So expect Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe at Supercard of Honor. Dalton Castle and the boys, they won the Trios Championships back, and they won a squash match. The Kingdom says they're coming for the tag team titles. Trish Adora squashes Billy Starks. The Trustbusters squash somebody. Wheeler Yuta retains the Pure Championship against Timothy Thatcher in a really, really good match. Aussie Open defeat Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. Eddie Kingston squashes someone. He calls out Claudio for a title match, and Claudio still declines, not giving him this championship match. And in our main event, Athena retains the Women's Championship over Willow Nightingale. But the way it ended, we might not be done with them two. We might not be done. Over on SmackDown, we're moving the pieces forward for WrestleMania. We recap Jay's turn, and we start off with the Fatal 5-Way with for the number one contendership for the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, who replaced Kofi Kingston, Karrion Kross, and LA Knight. I almost said Madcap Moss, who should have been in this match. But it ends with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre both being counted as the winners. So we'll see what happens next week, but I think we're still going to end up with a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman says the Bloodline will deal with Cody the way they deal with things. Rey Mysterio is announced as the first Hall of Fame inductee. Dom questions why, and this storyline is just so good. It might be the second best storyline in the WWE. The Judgment Day defeat Legado del Fantasma. Dom calls Rey into the ring and says that he, Dominic, should have been Eddie's son. And Ray's like, you don't mean that. You don't mean that. Dom is still trying to go Eddie into hitting him, but it doesn't work. The Viking Raiders defeated Ricochet and Braun Strowman. Charlotte Flair defeated Shotzi Blackheart. Rhea confronted him, and they had words. This is stupid. Both women's championship feuds going into WrestleMania suck. They suck. I will say it again. It should be Rhea versus Bianca and Asuka versus Charlotte. And in the main event segment, Jey Uso explains why. He says that what other choice did he have? He was always going to choose family. You don't know what he's going through. You could tell that he's hurt. You could tell that he didn't want to do it, but he's succumbing to the Bloodline and to Roman Reigns. Cody comes out because the Bloodline said they were going to deal with Cody. And then Sammy attacks from behind, and then Cody follows up, and that's how the show ended. Over on Rampage, Sammy Guevara defeated Action Andretti. Darby Allin and Jungle Boy both had promos saying that they're coming for something. They're going to do something. Pay close attention to the job. The Acclaimed had won a squash match, then 2.0 came out. So I'm excited for this feud because the Acclaimed versus 2.0 will be hilarious. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Preston Vance. So we're not done with people trying to represent Takeshita and lure him into their group, because Don Callis was on commentary for this match. Swerve says he underestimated Keith Lee, but he's not done with him. Mark Briscoe came out and announced that a Supercard for Honor, we will have the Reach for the Sky ladder match to determine the new tag team champions, and the first team in that ladder match will be the Lucha Brothers. And in our main event, Riho defeated Nyla Rose. Our matches of the week from Revolution: the Elite versus the House of Black for the All Elite Wrestling Trios Championship, and just a fantastic match. Also from Revolution, MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Bryan Danielson in a 16-minute Iron Man match. I mean, Dave Meltzer gave it 5.75 stars. It would have been a 6 in the Tokyo Dome. I'm just saying. No, it was a really good match. From Women's Wrestling Army, Queen Aminata versus Kilynn King. This was hands down one of like the 2 or 3 best matches that the Women's Wrestling Army have ever had. And yes, I'm going to give you a free one here from NXT just because I love both of these women and the match was fantastic. Roxanne Perez versus Meiko Satomura for the NXT Women's Championship. It was a fantastic match. And Roxanne's only 21, y'all. She's only 21. From Dynamite, Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal for the All-Atlantic Championship. Also from Dynamite, Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT Championship. From Impact, Mickie James versus Giselle Shaw for the Knockouts Championship. From Ring of Honor, Wheeler Yuta versus Timothy Thatcher for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. And also from Ring of Honor, Athena versus Willow Nightingale for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. So we had a lot of good matches this week, and it stinks that nothing came from the WWE, nothing from Raw, nothing from SmackDown. But it happens like that sometimes when you have so much wrestling. Not every great match can come from the WWE. A lot of times they don't. But our star of the week is also Jey Uso, going from the turn on Sammy up to explaining himself on Friday night. Man, oh man, boy, oh boy, he has been knocking us out of the park. I'm waiting for the inevitable time when he runs through the bloodline, when he goes through Solo, when he goes through Jimmy to get to Roman. But that's the week in review, and we shall be right back. Here we are. Well, today's show is something that's kind of near and dear to me. And I wanted to bring it to you all. So, as you know, we are on the road to WrestleMania, the showcase of the Immortals. And it's something that we look forward to every year. I look forward to WrestleMania. I mean, WrestleMania is going to be in Philadelphia next year. I can't wait. I am so very much excited for that. But everything's not always so great with WrestleMania. And that's because sometimes, well, a lot of times, people lose matches that they should not have lost. And not only that, it changes things going forward. So today's show, our top story is WrestleMania and who should have won, and this is part 1. We're gonna do part 2 next week. I don't even remember what next week's show was supposed to be, but we're here. We're going to do it. So let's just start with WrestleMania. WrestleMania is important because it's the number 1 biggest pay-per-view in all of professional wrestling, over Double or Nothing, over AAA Triple Mania, over what New Japan has, which name? Wrestle Kingdom. Cities go to war, not physical war, but you know what I mean, to get WrestleMania to come to their city. That's how big it is. And WrestleMania is big. So we see this as something that can make careers, can break careers. And for me, WrestleMania is all about moving stories forward and then moving certain stories forward. But most stories should end at WrestleMania, depending on how long they've gone. But we're going to look at who should have won, and let's just get this out of the way right now. We are starting with the WrestleMania 20, because we know that the most egregious loss in WrestleMania history is at WrestleMania 19, Booker T losing to Triple H. We are not going to do that again. All right, so let's dive into it. And we're going to start with WrestleMania 22. So you're saying, well, WrestleMania 22, who should have won there? And I'll put it to you very, very simply. The match involved a legend and a popular superstar, but this legend lost. and that would be Booker T and the Boogeyman. So for the uninitiated, Booker T lost to the Boogeyman. Now listen. The Boogeyman is a very, very, very popular individual. He's quote unquote, a legend. But man, did that W really need to happen? So it was Boogeyman versus Booker T, and the match only went 3 minutes and 43 seconds. It was the shortest match on the card. The shortest match on the card. It was shorter than the damn Playboy pillow fight between Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle. Now, how you book this feud is how you end this match. So listen, if you're going to book the feud to get to this match, then you need to have the Boogeyman getting over on Booker T every single damn week up until WrestleMania. Every single week. But he should not be defeating Booker T at WrestleMania. Let that sink into your mind. Let that just sink in. And during this match, the Boogeyman kissed Sharmell with the mouth full of worms. And we're always talking about WrestleMania moments. What's your moment? Well, that was Boogeyman's moment. Still shouldn't have won the match. And that is on Booker T's win-loss record that he lost at WrestleMania to the Boogeyman. Because going forward, Booker T needed to be a worthy challenger. Booker T needed this win to stay relevant, and he just didn't get it. WrestleMania 25, another egregious loss. But first of all, just looking at the WrestleMania poster, there are no women on this poster, so that shows you how important the women were on this card. So let's get to this card, right? And the women are who I want to talk about. So as we're looking at this card, guess what? WrestleMania 25, there was only one women's match on the card. One. There was only one women's match on the card, and it was the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. And Mae Young was the special guest timekeeper. Do you know who won this Battle Royal? Santino Marella as Santina Marella. And that was one of the straws to break the camel's back when it comes to the divas in the WWE. He last eliminated Beth Phoenix, right? Let me tell you who else was in this Battle Royal. Beth Phoenix, Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, Eve Torres, Gail Kim, Jackie Gator, Jillian Hall, Joy Giovanni, Katie Lee Burchill, Kelly Kelly, Layla, Maria Bennett, Maurice, Melina, Michelle McCool, Mickey James, Molly Holly, Natalia, Nikki Bella, Rosa Mendez, Sunny, Tiffany, Taryn Terrell, Tori Wilson, and Victoria. Now, if you break it down into the actual top quality talent, the wrestlers in this match, right? Beth, I'll put Alicia in there. Actually, you know what? No. Because Alicia wasn't Alicia at this point. So Beth, Eve, Gail, Katie Lee Burchill, Layla, Melina, Michelle McCool, Mickey, Molly, Natalia, and Victoria. Tiffany wasn't Terrence Rowe, that we know now. Those are quality names, and you decided to go with Santino Marella and drag to win this match. That's worse than when Harvey Whippleman won the women's championship. Anyone, literally anyone but Santino should have won this match. Literally anyone else. And yet, that's what they went with. Why didn't Santino say no? Why didn't the woman say no? Not going to have him win this damn match. And just to get into it, what did the woman do the following year at WrestleMania 26? Well, we had a 10 Diva tag match that went 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Yep. So while we're on WrestleMania 26, we've got 2 matches on this card. One of them is very obvious, the other isn't so obvious. So let's start with the one that isn't so obvious. The Money in the Bank ladder match that was won by Jack Swagger. Now, usually when we got these first Money in the Bank matches, it was about taking someone in the mid-card, elevating them to the main event. So at first glance, I didn't have an issue with Jack Swagger winning the championship. I didn't, right? But look who else was in this match. Christian, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, not the Drew we have now. This was still the chosen one, skinny Drew McIntyre. Evan Bourne, Kane, Kofi Kingston, Matt Hardy, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. All those men with the exception of Evan Bourne, now Matt Sydal. World, in my opinion, world championship ready. Christian, Dolph Ziggler, Drew, even Drew at that time, Kane, Kofi, Matt Hardy, MVP, Shelton Benjamin. Jack Swagger. And like I said, I didn't have an issue with Swagger winning, but it was the aftermath of him winning. It didn't elevate him. It didn't move him upward. And I remember his cash-in, and it was a fine cash-in, but I have to go with either Kofi, Matt Hardy, or MVP, or Shelton Benjamin winning this match instead. Swagger could have taken a little bit more time, but this would have been the perfect opportunity to elevate Kofi Kingston to the main event scene, elevate Matt Hardy to the main event scene, because Jeff Hardy was already elevated. And MVP, who I truly believe was main event ready. And Shelton Benjamin, how many Money to Bank ladder matches can you be in and just keep losing them all? Those 4 men were ready. And then too many men in this Money to Bank. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in this Money to Bank ladder match. 10 people. That's way too much for a Money in the Bank ladder match. Just way too much. But the other egregious loss, it has to go to Batista not only losing, but getting submitted by John Cena in this match for the WWE Championship. Now, yes, Cena's going to show up on this list a few more times. How many more times does he show up? He shows up. Shows up a lot more on the second half of the list. But Batista had come back and he was knocking this heel roll out of the park. It was like the reincarnation of The Rock. It was. Now, here's the thing. The next night on Raw, Batista quit. He quit. It was funny. It was hilarious. But, you know, but this is some of the best work that Batista had done. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Batista didn't quit the next night on Raw. He quit it the next night on Raw after Over the Limit in an I Quit match. Yeah. It was just a wasted opportunity for Batista, because he was really, really good. He was really, 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 really good as this heel, as this, you know, this movie. So like I said, the reincarnation of The Rock coming back from his Hollywood stint. But wasted opportunity, because, you know, Super Cena has to be Super Cena. WrestleMania 27. There's only one loss on this match that is just really, really stupid. That would be Michael Cole defeating Jerry the King Lawler by DQ. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the special guest referee. This was just dumb. The feud was dumb. The match was dumb. And Jerry Lawler, Michael, in the record books, Michael Cole won. But it was by DQ, so something, you know, crazy happened. Jerry Lawler should have pinned Michael Cole clean. Should have defeated this man. And yet, here we are, living in a world where Michael Cole has more WrestleMania wins than Asuka. Let that sink in. Michael Cole has more WrestleMania wins than Asuka. The less said about this, the better. And we move on to WrestleMania 28. So let me get to 20. Let me get back to 27 real quick. So the women weren't treated as well as they were just yet. But when we get to 28, well, the women still play the back seat. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So crazy. And yeah, NXT was killing it. WrestleMania 28. There's only one loss that I will fight for that should be changed, and it's because of this and this only. The losing team were just better. They were just better wrestlers. I need y'all to explain to me, how did Kelly Kelly and Maria Menounos defeat Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres? How, Sway? How in the blue hell could that and did that happen? We all know Kelly Kelly is not good, never has been good, never will be good. And yeah, and I know Maria Menounos is a huge wrestling fan. I actually don't fault her for that. I respect her because she respects the business. She loves the business. But come on. Having Kelly Kelly and Maria Menounos defeat Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres and listen. You can say, well, Eve wasn't that. No, Eve was good at this point. Eve was good at this point. And yet. This should have been a knockout dominant victory. Period. It hurts my head sometimes to see the kind of the things the woman had to go through WrestleMania. You had great women on this card, on the roster. This is what you gave us. This is what annoyed. That's what I am. I am annoyed because some of these losses are just, they're just bad. Like this right here. This is just bad. Let's get to WrestleMania 29. Overall, was a solid show. I'm gonna keep pointing out the women. Did the women actually have a good match on this card? Guess what? The women weren't featured on the card. Let me do this. Let me go to Extreme Rules, which was the next pay-per-view right after that. And see if there were any women on that card. I think this is when Brock murdered Cena. Brock murdered Triple H. Women on the card? No. No. So we still haven't even hit the era of the woman being cared about. But there's one loss on WrestleMania 2029, I'm sorry, that was just dumb. And in hindsight, like you're looking at it now, it's like, okay, this dude sucks. But at the time, no, you can't do that. Mark Henry defeating Ryback at WrestleMania. Love Mark Henry. I mean, for the most part, his whole mentality of, shit that went down between him and Leo Rush, I hated it. But this match right here might be the truest definition of WrestleMania moments being more important than the match. Because that's all we hear about is making your WrestleMania moments. Mark Henry beat Ryback, but Ryback was on a roll. He was on a roll. And Ryback lost, but he got to make his moment by giving Mark Henry the I don't even remember the name of I don't even remember the name of Ryback's finisher. All I remember, it was a fisherman slam, and he like marched around the ring. Just a bad whatever. But that was his moment to do that move to Mark Henry after losing the match. Like, what? Again, annoyed, because I like Mark Henry. Hall of Pain, I genuinely love. But come on, son. You had a chance to make another star and you just didn't do it. We're almost there, guys. WrestleMania 30. And then once we move into part 2, ladies and germs, we're going to see how egregious, just like really how bad could it have been. So just we know about WrestleMania 30. We know about WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan. But there's one match on that card, and it's a weird card, but it's bookended by the Daniel Bryan victories. John Cena defeating Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's going to show up a few more times on this list, especially in part 2. So will John Cena. I don't think I'm ever going to say John Cena should have won. Bray Wyatt lost this feud. Bray Wyatt lost a lot of feuds. So what was this feud about? well, it was about Bray trying to get Cena to give into his darker urges, to finally accept what the people believe about him. So at the Royal Rumble that year, Bray cost Johnson the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Then in January, they cost him the match again. Wyatt was motivated by a desire to end this era of lies, beginning with Cena, and he wanted to expose the world to Cena that being an upholder of morality and good is just, it's hollow. I wanted to prove that he's a fraud and ruin his legacy. And yes, you can't ruin the legacy, but you can do something. You can do something. And Bray Wyatt losing this feud, all about his words, they never came to fruition. They just never, ever came to fruition. And it was a waste. And you were wasting this man once again, over and over and over again. Because what was the benefit of Cena winning to what? So you can overcome evil influence. Yes, you can overcome evil influence, but like, you set a precedent, and I'm all about setting precedents because it makes storytelling easier. You set a precedent for Bray Wyatt to lose, and then Bray Wyatt kept. I'm getting worked up. Let's move to WrestleMania 31, and we've got a couple matches on this card that should have been overturned. And we'll end with one, and then we'll start on 31, the rest of 31 card in part 2. So when you think of WrestleMania, who do you think almost always has the longest match on the card? Who do you think always has the longest match on the card? Triple H. Who did Triple H fight at WrestleMania 31? He fought Sting. And this match was all about Vince McMahon taking one last shot at WCW. Not only did Triple H win this match, the most egregious thing that happened during this match was the NWO coming out to help their long-term rival Sting. Just make it make sense. And this was a no DQ match. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Why? Like, I understand why DX would help Triple H. It's DX. Why would the NWO help Sting? And the match was bad. It wasn't bad. It was fine. Sting's had better matches in AEW since then, way better matches. But what made this match even worse was that they shook hands. They shook hands after the match. I hate it. I understand. And Sting was going out here long after. I get it. You wanted to stick the final nail in the coffin of WCW. but you won. You bought them. Ladies and gentlemen, Sting is 0-2 at the WWE. He doesn't have a win. You know what Sting's record is in AEW? He's undefeated. Because they know how to use Sting. And the WWE completely wasted this hair. I can partially get over Sting losing. I can't get over the fact of the NWO helping him. Just bad. Just bad. But that's our show. That is WrestleMania and Who Should Have Won Part 1. Part 2 will be coming next week. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to check out the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube. Charismatic_creations 52 on Instagram and the 215 on Twitter. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Greatly I greatly appreciate it. That's our show. And as always, Xylee, Shotzi Blackheart, Willow Nightingale, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.